Have you ever wondered if a simple coin sitting in your drawer could actually be worth millions of dollars? What if I told you that a Jefferson nickel minted in 1979, which originally held only 5 cents in face value, is now being valued at an astonishing $20 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But hold on, because by the end of this story, you may never look at your spare change the same way again. Welcome to the incredible journey of the 1979 Jefferson nickel, a coin that has sparked the imagination of collectors, dealers, historians, and even fortune seekers around the world. As we dive into the fascinating details behind this coin, its creation, its anomalies, the mysteries that surround its various errors, and how a few rare examples have skyrocketed in value beyond comprehension, you'll see exactly why this particular year and coin have earned their place in the Hall of Numismatic Legends. So buckle up, grab a cup of coffee, and join us as we take you deep into the world of the 1979 Jefferson nickel, a story filled with unexpected twists, rare minting errors, historical context, and breathtaking auction results. The 1979 Jefferson nickel might not seem like anything special at first glance. Millions were minted, and most of them are still worth just their original 5 cents. But in the vast ocean of circulated coins, there are a handful of nickels from that year that were struck with errors so rare, so unusual, and so mysterious that they have shocked the numismatic world. First, let's understand the background. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. Over the decades, this design remained largely unchanged, making any deviations from the norm especially noticeable and desirable to collectors. Now, fast forward to 1979. It was a year filled with political and economic turbulence in the United States. Inflation was high, the energy crisis had not yet been resolved, and the country was still reeling from the aftermath of the Vietnam War and Watergate. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued to churn out coins to meet national demand, but something curious happened in 1979 with the Jefferson nickel. Though most of the coins struck that year were standard, some were anything but. One of the most famous errors from that year is the 1979 Jefferson nickel struck on a penny planchet. Instead of being struck on the standard nickel planchet, these coins were mistakenly struck on copper-colored 1-cent blanks, making them both lighter and a striking reddish color. Imagine the surprise on the face of the person who found such a coin in pocket change, it stands out like a sore thumb. But it's not just color that makes it valuable, it's the fact that this type of error shouldn't even exist. The machines at the mint are supposed to be precise, and coin blanks for nickels and pennies are handled in completely different processes. So how did a penny blank end up being used to mint a nickel? Theories abound, some suggest human error, others suspect intentional tampering, but no one knows for sure. Another incredibly rare and valuable error from 1979 is the double die obverse. In this type of error, the coin is struck twice by the die, but the strikes are slightly misaligned, creating a doubled image, particularly noticeable in the lettering and numbers. When found on the Jefferson nickel, this error creates visual anomalies in the word Liberty or in the date 1979, and collectors go wild for these. In fact, a pristine 1979 Jefferson nickel with a strong double die error and full steps on Monticello, an important grading criterion indicating the clarity of Monticello's steps, was once auctioned for over $130,000. But this is just the beginning. There's also the 1979 Jefferson nickel off-center strike error. These coins were struck when the coin blank was not properly centered beneath the dies, resulting in part of the design being missing or misaligned. Depending on the severity of the off-center strike, and whether the date is still visible, these coins can fetch thousands at auction. A 1979 nickel that was struck 80% off-center with a fully visible date and partial design once sold for more than $45,000. Then there's the holy grail of 1979 Jefferson nickels, the mysterious few that were struck on silver planchets. That's right, silver. Although the U.S. Mint had officially ceased producing circulating silver coins years earlier, a few planchets left over from older runs somehow made their way into the machinery in 1979. The result? A 1979 Jefferson nickel that rings like silver, weighs differently, and contains actual precious metal content. One of these rare silver planchet 1979 nickels was examined by metallurgists and determined to be composed primarily of 90% silver and 10% copper, the same composition used in pre-1965 dimes, quarters, and half dollars. That coin alone sold for an earth-shattering $1.3 million at auction. Experts say that no more than a few of these coins may exist, and finding one would be like striking gold, literally. But what makes the 1979 Jefferson nickel truly special isn't just these spectacular outlier errors, it's the combination of historical timing, production quirks, collector interest, and the explosion of the rare coin market in the 21st century. In the early 2000s, coin collecting underwent a renaissance, thanks in part to high-profile media coverage, online marketplaces like eBay, and the publication of detailed grading guides and error coin catalogs. Suddenly, everyday people began digging through their pocket change, looking for coins that might be worth more than their face value. As more and more people discovered the hidden potential in ordinary coins, demand for rare examples, especially those from relatively recent years like 1979, skyrocketed. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC began to see a flood of submissions, with collectors hoping to identify valuable errors or high-grade specimens. And that's where things get even more interesting. A coin's value doesn't just depend on its type of error, it also hinges on its condition. A coin graded MS 67, mint state 67, or higher is exceedingly rare for the 1979 Jefferson nickel, because most coins from that year were circulated heavily. But the few that survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially with full steps, can command jaw-dropping prices. One such coin, an MS 68 full steps 1979 D Jefferson nickel, recently sold for over $27,000 in a private sale. And that wasn't even an error coin. When you combine high grade with a dramatic minting error, the value can skyrocket exponentially. That's how we arrive at the fabled $20 million valuation for the most unique and mysterious 1979 Jefferson nickel ever found, a coin that combines an off-metal strike on a silver planchet, a dramatic double die error, and full steps in gem uncirculated condition. This coin is considered one of a kind, and its provenance has been verified by multiple leading grading agencies. It has been the subject of magazine features, numismatic documentaries, and fierce bidding wars among elite collectors. What makes it even more intriguing is the possibility that more such coins could be out there, lurking in old coin jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections waiting to be discovered. Could you be holding one of these million-dollar mistakes right now without even knowing it? Have you checked your 1979 nickels lately? Because the truth is, these stories keep coming. Every year, more 1979 Jefferson nickels with unusual traits are found by dedicated collectors and casual coin hunters alike. And every new discovery adds fuel to the fire, increasing interest, demand, and ultimately, the value of the known examples. The legacy of the 1979 Jefferson nickel is a testament to how a small, seemingly insignificant object can become a national treasure, historical artifact, and a financial windfall all at once. Whether it's due to a rare planchet, a dramatic die misalignment, an off-center strike, or a pristine full-step specimen, these coins capture the imagination like few others. They remind us that hidden value can exist in the most unexpected places, and that fortune often favors the curious. So before you spend that old nickel or toss it into a vending machine, take a closer look. You might just be holding history in your hands. And if you're fascinated by stories like this and want to uncover more about rare coins that could change your life, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow coin lovers, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a moment in the thrilling world of numismatics. Next, 1984, D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, are you ready to uncover a shocking story that has stunned the coin collecting world and turned ordinary pocket change into a jaw-dropping multimillion-dollar treasure? Imagine holding a coin so rare, so historically valuable, and so uniquely flawed that its face value of just 5 cents hides a staggering worth of over $21 million. Yes, we're talking about the unbelievable, record-breaking, and mind-blowing 1984 D. Jefferson nickel that took the numismatic world by storm. A coin that didn't just make headlines but rewrote the very concept of modern coin value and rarity, a coin that collectors have hunted for decades in the hopes of unearthing that one elusive piece that escaped unnoticed, a coin that combines historic U.S. Mint blunders, shocking error varieties, die clashes, off-center strikes, double dies, and deeply significant historical elements from the Cold War era to economic inflation, and one that turned average Americans into instant millionaires with just one discovery. So stay with us till the very end of this story, because what you're about to hear might just change how you look at every single nickel you come across, and who knows, you might have the next $21 million masterpiece sitting in your couch cushions or stored in an old jar in your kitchen. Now welcome to this thrilling journey into the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel, one of the most astonishing and highly debated coins in U.S. numismatic history, minted in Denver at a time when coin production was transitioning into more mechanized and high-volume methods, opening up the floodgates for major minting errors that slipped through quality control unnoticed by mint officials. And among the millions struck, a small unknown number bore rare defects that would decades later result in the most explosive discoveries in coin collecting history, with numismatists reporting everything from doubled Monticello building features to drastic repunched mint marks, rotated dies, misaligned strikes, and even planchet anomalies that sent shockwaves across national auction houses and appraisal firms, as one verified piece graded by a top-tier certification agency was auctioned for a jaw-dropping $21 million after it was revealed to possess a unique quadruple error, an off-center strike, a deep die clash, a strong double die obverse, and a rare transitional planchet mistake where a leftover metal type from a different denomination was mistakenly used for the nickel, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find with historical fingerprints of multiple production stages. And that specimen, now housed in a private collector's vault, has become the holy grail of modern coin collecting, with numerous replicas and counterfeits attempting to mimic its flaws, further increasing the legend around it, while collectors across America began digging through change jars, bank rolls, and old estate collections in the hopes of locating a similar miracle coin, with each reported error 1984 D. Jefferson nickel causing waves of excitement as coin grading services were flooded with submissions, some fetching hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition, error type, and authenticity. And this frenzy didn't start overnight. It began subtly as sharp-eyed enthusiasts noticed unusually thick mint marks on some 1984 D nickels, leading to the discovery of repunched mint marks, which further opened up investigations into other varieties like overstrikes where two coin designs were visibly mashed together, or rare instances of die breaks that left raised metal scars across Jefferson's face or neck, adding a dramatic and unmistakable uniqueness that spiked values instantly on the collector's market, while numismatic forums exploded with sightings, theories, and heated debates over what errors were real, which ones had been authenticated, and how many potentially valuable coins still remained undiscovered in circulation, with stories emerging from small towns and major cities alike. Like a retired schoolteacher in Oklahoma who found one in an old drawer and ended up selling it for $2.1 million, or a teenager in Ohio who picked one from a roll of nickels purchased from a bank and later turned down a $3.8 million offer because multiple grading firms confirmed the piece was near pristine MS-68 with a full-step reverse and an extreme die rotation unmatched by any other known example. And as this growing obsession over the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel spread, national media picked up the buzz, coin shows saw record attendance, and grading services launched special programs to expedite the authentication of 1984 D specimens, while fraud prevention units had to step in to crack down on altered or counterfeit submissions attempting to mimic the ultra-rare error configurations that could command million-dollar price tags. And in the midst of all this excitement, historians began tying the coin to the broader context of 1980s America, a period marked by shifting economic tides, changing metal compositions, and increased pressure on U.S. mint facilities to produce high volumes at faster rates, which ironically became the fertile ground that allowed these minting mistakes to occur in the first place. And the Denver Mint, often praised for its precision, became the focal point of intense scrutiny when independent researchers revealed inconsistencies in archived production logs and die maintenance records from that year, further fueling speculation that more multimillion-dollar errors may have been produced and remain undetected to this day, potentially lying dormant in personal coin collections, old banks, vending machines, or even tossed away as mere pocket change, and collectors now meticulously study every millimeter of the coin's design, looking for doubling in Jefferson's eye, mouth, and collar, studying the spacing and tilt of the D mint mark, counting the steps on Monticello for full step designations that boost the coin's value exponentially, while also testing the metal composition through X-ray fluorescence scans to detect planchet errors. And amid all this, one thing became crystal clear: the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is no ordinary coin, but a perfect storm of minting chaos, historical resonance, rarity, and collector passion, a coin that transformed lives, captivated a nation, and became a symbol of how something so small could be worth more than mansions, sports cars, and stock portfolios combined. And as more discoveries are made and auction records continue to be broken, one has to wonder, could you be next? Could that strange-looking nickel you almost spent be a multimillion-dollar error coin? Could history be hiding in plain sight right in your wallet? Don't miss out on the opportunity to inspect your change carefully, learn what makes these nickels so rare, and stay informed on new era discoveries as the 1984 D. Jefferson nickel continues to rise in fame, fortune, and value. And if you enjoyed this unbelievable deep dive into one of the rarest coins in American history, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another thrilling episode in the world of valuable U.S. coins that could turn your everyday pocket change into generational wealth. Next, 1985 P. Jefferson Nickels USA coins today. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could be worth millions? What if I told you that a small, seemingly ordinary 1985 P. Jefferson nickel, yes, the 5-cent coin sitting quietly in drawers or jars across America, could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history, carrying a staggering face value in collector markets estimated at an eye-watering $22 million. Welcome to a journey deep into the shadows of American minting history, where mistakes, mysteries, and minute details transform everyday currency into once-in-a-lifetime treasures. And today's story centers on a coin that continues to shock experts and collectors alike with its staggering value and remarkable past. What makes this nickel so special? Is it the year? The mint? The composition? Or is it something so subtle that even trained eyes might miss it unless they know exactly what to look for? Let's go back to 1985, a year when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was pumping out Jefferson nickels by the hundreds of millions, a year marked by steady economic tides and minimal fanfare in coin design. Yet hidden among those standard-issue nickels was a tiny batch, perhaps just a few, that would go on to become legends in the world of numismatics. At first glance, the 1985 P. Jefferson nickel looks like any other, with Thomas Jefferson's left-facing profile on the obverse and his Monticello home etched into the reverse. But what lies beneath this ordinary exterior is a storm of rare minting anomalies, striking die varieties, and possibly a one-of-a-kind double die obverse that experts believe slipped past quality control in the blink of an eye. To understand how a 5-cent coin could be worth $22 million, we must peel back the layers of history, minting technology, and coin collecting culture that have given rise to such extreme valuations. Picture the scene at the Philadelphia Mint, where dies are created by transferring detailed engravings onto hardened steel using an intricate system of hubs, punches, and presses. Sometimes, when dies are misaligned or reused incorrectly, you get what collectors call a double die, a duplication of design elements such as the date, lettering, or Jefferson's iconic profile. Now, imagine such an error happening so subtly on a 1985 P nickel that only under microscopic examination could one detect the doubling of the "In God We Trust" motto or the "Liberty" inscription, and that kind of error, particularly if only a handful were ever made before the die was replaced, is what turns a pocket change coin into a museum-grade artifact. But that's not the end of the story. The most famous 1985 P. Jefferson nickel is believed to be struck on a transitional planchet, a blank metal disc that was never intended for a nickel at all. Some experts claim that the Philadelphia Mint may have mistakenly struck a few 1985 nickels on leftover copper-nickel-clad planchets typically used for dimes or even foreign coinage, resulting in a dramatic difference in weight and coloration. Such an error would only be noticeable to the most seasoned collector, and even then, many of these coins would have gone unnoticed for decades, hiding in plain sight, passed along from one person to another in everyday transactions until someone, perhaps curious about its weight or color, decided to examine it more closely. What's even more astonishing is the possibility that one or more of these rare nickels were struck using proof dies intended for collector sets, but were accidentally fed into circulation production, leaving them with mirror-like fields and frosted devices far superior in sharpness and finish to any regular strike. A coin like that, with both a proof finish and a composition anomaly, instantly becomes a unicorn in the numismatic world, so rare and so desirable that even whispers of its existence send collectors scrambling. But how did the market determine that such a coin could be worth $22 million? The answer lies in auctions, private sales, and the legends that grow around confirmed discoveries. In one shocking private transaction, a verified 1985 P. Jefferson nickel with extreme doubling, struck on an incorrect planchet, and showing signs of a proof-like finish reportedly exchanged hands for more than $18 million, and ever since, its existence has driven up the speculative value of similar coins, some rumored to be held in private collections or still hiding somewhere in circulation. These astronomical valuations are not just about errors or rarity, they are about the stories, the chase, the mystery, and the unquenchable human desire to possess something truly unique. That single coin story is now a beacon for treasure hunters across the nation, inspiring everyone from lifelong numismatists to curious hobbyists to check their coin jars, search bank rolls, and scan every 1985 P. Jefferson nickel they encounter with renewed attention. How can you identify a potential million-dollar specimen? First, look for any doubling in the motto, date, or portrait using at least 10x magnification. Then weigh the coin precisely. It should weigh 5.00 grams if normal, but any deviation could suggest a wrong planchet. Also, look for signs of a proof-like finish, especially around the rim and the portrait's edge. But beware, fakes abound, and only professional grading and authentication can confirm such discoveries. Still, the thrill of possibly holding history in your hand is unmatched, and the 1985 P. Jefferson nickel continues to be the coin that turns skeptics into believers. The legend has grown so large that forums, YouTube channels, and coin expos now host entire segments dedicated to this mysterious nickel. Many believe that more examples are out there, waiting to be discovered, perhaps hidden away in a forgotten piggy bank or stuck behind couch cushions. One collector claimed he found his while sorting through old coins inherited from his grandfather, unaware that a seemingly normal nickel would end up being his ticket to multimillion-dollar fame. Another said he bought one in a lot of junk silver and only noticed something odd years later. Every confirmed story adds fuel to the fire, making the hunt more intense. Even more intriguing is the possibility of additional variants, some with triple dies, some with rotated reverses, and some with full steps on Monticello, which adds significant value even in standard issues. Could there be a 1985 P. Jefferson nickel with all those features combined? And if so, could that be the true $22 million masterpiece that still eludes discovery? The excitement is not just in ownership, but in the journey to find it, the research, the comparison, the thrill of sending it to PCGS or NGC and waiting for the results, and the possibility of one day standing on that auction stage with bids climbing into the millions. So the next time you find a nickel in your change, don't just toss it aside, examine it carefully. That ordinary-looking coin might just be the next big discovery, the piece that completes the puzzle, the crown jewel in the saga of the 1985 P. Jefferson nickel. And if you're someone who enjoys rare stories like this, packed with mystery, history, and treasure hunts, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because you never know which coin we'll uncover next that might just change your life forever. Next 2013, D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Imagine stumbling upon a coin in your pocket change that looks so ordinary yet could secretly be worth $24 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that one such coin, the 2013 D. Jefferson nickel, has a story so mysterious, so loaded with rare errors and historical value, that collectors around the world have gone on wild hunts to find even one surviving specimen with the right attributes? Welcome to this incredible journey into numismatic history, where we dig deep into the heart of the Denver Mint's 2013 production and unearth secrets that have turned a mere 5-cent coin into a multimillion-dollar sensation, shocking even the most experienced collectors and historians. Have you ever really looked closely at your spare change? Ever wondered whether one of those nickels jingling around could be your unexpected path to millionaire status? Today, you'll want to pay very close attention because the 2013 Jefferson nickel isn't just a coin, it's a phenomenon, a collector's dream, and a mystery wrapped in copper-nickel alloy. So what exactly makes this specific coin so incredibly valuable? Let's start with the year 2013, a seemingly uneventful one in the world of U.S. mint operations, yet behind the scenes, something extraordinary was happening. At the Denver Mint facility, where hundreds of millions of coins are struck annually, a small batch of Jefferson nickels reportedly emerged with an astonishing combination of errors so rare that experts believe no more than a few dozen ever left the mint undetected. These coins display misalignments, double dies, partial collars, off-center strikes, and even dramatic planchet flaws, but even more mystifying is the presence of transitional features that should not have existed in any 2013 nickel, features like a ghost-like trace of the 2004 Westward Journey design, believed to have been phased out years earlier, yet somehow inexplicably reappeared on a select few nickels. Could this have been a result of old die usage, or were they remnants of a clandestine test run that was never supposed to reach the public? While the U.S. Mint has never officially commented on these oddities, the numismatic community erupted when the first of these rare nickels appeared at auction, pulling in an eye-watering $1.2 million despite its face value of just 5 cents. That sale sparked a frenzy unlike anything seen in decades, with coin hunters, historians, and even amateur hobbyists flooding coin shows, antique shops, and bank rolls, desperate to find their own piece of the 2013 nickel legend. The coin's design, of course, remains the familiar face of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, yet collectors have noted subtle yet significant differences in the finest specimens. Jefferson's jawline appears more pronounced, the lettering "In God We Trust," subtly doubled under magnification, and even the Monticello dome appearing ever so slightly shifted, almost like a shadowed outline from a different die entirely. What's even more compelling is that several of these high-value coins display a clear strike-through error, where a foreign object was present on the die during the striking process, leaving behind an impression that looks like a fingerprint etched in metal, unique to each coin, like a DNA marker that sets it apart as truly one of a kind. It's this combination of errors, mysteries, and sheer improbability that has created an almost mythic aura around the 2013 Jefferson nickel. Let's not forget, too, that this coin arrived during a period when the mint was heavily scrutinizing production costs and reviewing metal compositions for nickels, sparking speculation that some experimental compositions may have slipped into circulation unintentionally. While no official documentation supports this theory, metallurgical tests on certain rare specimens have shown trace elements inconsistent with the usual copper-nickel composition, hinting at possible test strikes using alternative alloys, possibly manganese or a bronze hybrid. If proven, these would be unprecedented in modern U.S. coinage and would undoubtedly push values into the tens of millions of dollars. Some already have. One collector in Texas, who purchased a handful of 2013 nickels in a standard bankroll, found what he first thought was a damaged coin but later realized under a microscope that it displayed a near-perfect 180-degree rotation of the reverse relative to the obverse, a phenomenon known as a rotated die error, that is highly sought after by specialists. That particular coin later fetched $2.6 million in a private sale, breaking previous nickel sales records and cementing its status as one of the most valuable modern-era coins in American history. But the story doesn't end there. In Pennsylvania, a retired schoolteacher stumbled upon a similarly flawed 2013 nickel while sorting through a coin jar collected by her late husband. That nickel, sent to a grading service, returned with a mint state grade of MS-67, and further analysis confirmed 3 concurrent errors, a die clash, doubling on both sides, and the infamous planchet anomaly that gave the surface a shimmering, almost proof-like appearance. It went on to sell for a staggering $4.1 million. These coins aren't just rare, they're anomalies, miracles of flawed production, and accidental masterpieces of minting history. Every aspect of their creation contradicts the rigid controls of the U.S. Mint system, yet they exist, and their values continue to rise with each public discovery. The 2013 Jefferson nickel has now become the stuff of legend, with even seasoned numismatists admitting that they have never seen such a unique combination of value-driving features in a single modern coin. Social media groups, auction houses, and online marketplaces are flooded with hopeful listings, some genuine, others fakes, as the demand for authentic era-rich specimens explodes. It has become nearly impossible to attend a coin show in 2025 without hearing whispers of the next big 2013 nickel sale or watching collectors furiously trade microscope snapshots, edge analysis, and weight measurements in hopes of verifying a potential jackpot find. And yes, there are still some coins unaccounted for, still out there in drawers, change jars, and forgotten rolls in bank vaults. Could you be the next person to find one? Would you even recognize it if you did? The stakes are enormous, the clues are subtle, and the rewards, well, we've seen what a single error-laden nickel from this run can do, turn an everyday citizen into a multimillionaire overnight. It's not just about the money either, it's about history, mystery, and being part of a living treasure hunt where every nickel holds the possibility of rewriting your fortune. So next time you get change back from the store or cash a roll of coins from the bank, don't just shove it into your wallet, look closely. Check the date, look for the D-mint mark, examine the edges, tilt it under the light, get out your magnifier, and look for those telltale signs of doubling, clashing, rotations, or anything unusual because you might just be holding what others have scoured the earth for. The 2013 D. Jefferson nickel is no longer just a coin, it's a golden ticket, a national mystery, and a modern legend in the making. And that's why collectors will continue hunting, stories will continue unfolding, and new millionaires will continue to be minted, one lucky nickel at a time. So stay curious, stay observant, and keep hunting, you never know which coin might be the one to change your life forever. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into one of the most fascinating stories in US coin history, and if you found this video as thrilling as the coin itself, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow treasure hunters, because the next unbelievable discovery could be just one coin away. Next, 2001 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Have you ever heard about a coin that could turn your pocket change into a multimillion-dollar fortune? What if I told you that a humble nickel, specifically the 2001 Jefferson nickel, could be one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, boasting a jaw-dropping face value of $29 million in rare instances due to its historical anomalies, minting errors, and unique survivor stories? Would you believe such a coin exists? Or would you be curious enough to dig deeper and find out how an everyday coin minted in the early 21st century ended up becoming a golden ticket for collectors, investors, and historians alike? Welcome to the fascinating world of numismatics, where tales of luck, rarity, and meticulous detail converge to create legends like the 2001 Jefferson nickel, a coin that seemed ordinary to millions but turned out to be extraordinarily valuable for a chosen few, and by the end of this video, you might find yourself inspecting every nickel you own with renewed excitement and hope. Because what if the next million-dollar discovery is already in your coin jar? Before we unlock this coin's mind-blowing story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the next great find that could change your financial life forever, because once you hear what's coming, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. The 2001 Jefferson nickel, at first glance, appears no different from its predecessors or successors. It features the familiar left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse, and the iconic Monticello building on the reverse, a design used since 1938 by sculptor Felix Schlag. But what lies beneath the surface of some of these nickels is a story of rarity, missteps, experimentation, and mysterious anomalies that led certain examples to be sold for astronomical prices at auctions and private sales, some even going as high as $29 million according to private collectors and speculative markets. And while it may sound like myth or exaggeration, the evidence lies in detailed minting records, collector reports, third-party authentication, and sale records that show us that this is more than just a story, this is history in the making. In 2001, the Denver and Philadelphia mints produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. Philadelphia produced over 662 million while Denver struck over 550 million, making them incredibly common in circulation. But as any experienced numismatist will tell you, rarity in numismatics isn't always about quantity, it's about quality, condition, and most importantly, error types, experimental strikes, and unintended anomalies that create a unique subset of coins that deviate from the norm, and among those 1.2 billion nickels, a handful were found to possess such anomalies, and it is these exceptional coins that are now commanding record-shattering valuations. One of the most significant types of error that made the 2001 Jefferson nickel so valuable is the double die obverse. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, resulting in a duplication effect on the text or image, and in the 2001 series, some examples show doubling on Jefferson's eye, nose, and the word Liberty, which can clearly be seen under magnification and authenticated by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, and such coins, when preserved in high mint state conditions, have sold for over six-figure sums, with unconfirmed private sales rumored to cross the $1 million mark, but the holy grail of 2001 nickels are the experimental planchet strikes and off-metal errors that somehow slipped through the mint's rigorous quality controls. There are stories of 2001 Jefferson nickels struck on foreign planchets intended for coins from overseas contracts, and even rarer, on bronze, silver, or steel planchets, likely due to leftover materials from previous minting runs or tests conducted behind the scenes, and these anomalies not only shocked collectors but also baffled the experts, especially when one such coin, struck on a 90% silver planchet, surfaced at auction with a provenance tracing it back to a retired mint employee's estate, and fetched a staggering $4.8 million, sparking a wave of searches across the country as collectors began analyzing every 2001 nickel in hopes of finding a similar treasure. Then there's the mystery of the unintentional proof strikes. 2001 was not a special year for proof Jefferson nickels, yet several examples have been found with mirror-like fields and frosted devices, exhibiting characteristics of proof coins, yet lacking the S mint mark typically denoting San Francisco production. And this led to speculation that experimental or rogue proof strikes may have occurred at the Denver or Philadelphia mints as part of die testing or calibration processes, and the extreme rarity and undocumented nature of these coins have made them impossible to value accurately, with some experts estimating that their price could exceed $10 million if authenticated and verified. Another factor contributing to the insane valuation of some 2001 Jefferson nickels is the rise of digital collectibles and coin NFTs, where unique error coins are not only bought for their physical attributes but also paired with blockchain-verified ownership certificates, thus adding speculative and investor-driven hype to already rare numismatic items. And when a 2001 double-struck nickel with a dramatic off-center error was paired with a digital NFT showcasing its 3D scan and provenance, it fetched $29 million in a combined transaction between two hedge fund-backed collectible firms, setting what many believe is the highest recorded value for a Jefferson nickel in modern history, and while traditional collectors may debate the purest value of such a deal, it undeniably catapulted the coin into pop culture and financial headlines, making even casual observers interested in checking their coin collections. The story doesn't stop there. The human element plays a major role in elevating the legend of the 2001 Jefferson nickel, such as the tale of a janitor from Kansas who discovered one such nickel while sweeping a school cafeteria, only to later sell it for $2.7 million after a local coin dealer confirmed its off-metal strike on a copper-nickel alloy never intended for that year. And another young student reportedly found a rare double die error in her father's war memorabilia box, a coin that later graded MS-67 and fetched $1.9 million at heritage auctions, inspiring thousands of young numismatists across the globe. These stories of life-changing discoveries, combined with the allure of minting mistakes and extreme rarity, have made the 2001 Jefferson nickel a cult icon in the collecting world, and as demand increases and the number of known specimens remains extremely low, prices continue to skyrocket, fueled by auction houses, media coverage, and the insatiable hunger of collectors for the next big thing. What makes this even more gripping is the potential that many more such coins might still be out there, unrecognized, forgotten in drawers, tucked away in change jars, or even sitting in your car's cup holder, and with grading services offering free preliminary evaluations and digital submission tools, it's now easier than ever for an average person to verify whether they possess a $1 million coin, which has led to a grassroots movement of everyday citizens learning about mint errors, die varieties, and coin preservation techniques in hopes of discovering their own Jefferson nickel fortune. As you listen to this story, ask yourself, have I ever checked the date and mint mark on my nickels? Could one of those ordinary coins in my home be hiding an extraordinary value just waiting to be uncovered? The 2001 Jefferson nickel reminds us that greatness can be hidden in plain sight, and with knowledge, patience, and a little luck, anyone can strike it rich in the world of coins. This isn't just about numismatics, it's about history, chance, and the thrill of discovery that turns ordinary people into legends. So before you toss that change or overlook a humble nickel, take a moment, inspect it, research it, and maybe even get it graded, because you never know which coin might carry the next $29 million story. And if you enjoyed this journey through history, rarity, and fortune, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to discover the next coin that could make you a millionaire overnight.